Hello, and thank you for joining this overview of your EBSCO resources for academic research for the Idaho Commission for Libraries. My name is Shayna, and I am a senior customer training specialist with EBSCO. I've been with EBSCO for a number of years. I live on the East Coast, on Long Island in New York, background in education, and I support our EBSCO clients in the US and Canada. Thanks for joining us today. We do have some objectives. Hopefully by the end of the session, you'll be comfortable directing users, patrons, students to the EBSCOhost interface, to conduct research with our academic databases. You'll know how to search and browse content, employ searching strategies, even create personal MyEBSCO accounts to organize your research. And you'll know how to access additional training and to promotional resources to help get the word out about these resources at your local library. There is a lot of information on our support site called EBSCO Connect, and I'll show you how to access that in a little bit. So before we get started with our discussion about your EBSCO resources for academic research, I just want to drive home the importance of utilizing EBSCOhost to conduct that quality research at the academic level. And the reasons why are here on my screen. It's because our content is procured for academic institutions and public libraries. Your users will find vetted authoritative content from reputable publishers with a lot of tools like the ability to filter their search results. We have advanced search options for the experienced researcher. We have tools like saving, accessing our citation tool options, sharing. And of course, no advertising requests for personal information will ever be requested. So those are your reasons. If you haven't visited your EBSCO resources in a while, we have a new UI for EBSCOhost. It was released this summer, and it's now available at Idaho Commission for Libraries, lily.org. You will continue to see additional enhancements over the next few months and beyond. We are working to ensure that these improvements happen seamlessly, so there is no work or little work required on your end other than attending sessions like this to get a sense for those changes, or we can demo things for you. We do have a roadmap where you can access our future release dates for future enhancements to come. We will show you where that is available. Our roadmap, I believe, goes out through July of 2024 with additional enhancements to come in the EBSCOhost interface. So you can check that at your leisure to stay abreast of what's new. So in terms of what is new, we have redesigned all of our interfaces, including EBSCOhost, the mobile app, using technology to make our platform more modern, more responsive, accessible, as well as improving it for future internationalization of our platforms. We needed to modernize according to new web standards. We needed to make our interfaces accessible. So we are working towards WCAG 2.1 AA compliance, which is Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. So we are designing our platforms, or have designed our platforms, with an accessibility forward approach. It's not an afterthought. It's definitely something we have considered with the design. So some of the accessibility features, improvements you'll see is that our interfaces are responsive for use on all different size devices. You'll see a simplified design to reduce cognitive load. You'll find quick filters, accessible formats and EPUB. You'll also see headings and landmarks for screen reader navigation, descriptive text for images and non-text elements, transcripts for videos, and text-to-speech for PDF and HTML full-text articles, including the ability to download those articles as MP3 files, okay? And now we are ready for a live demo. Just wanted to point out some of those features that we're going to demo in the new EBSCOhost user interface as we access those academic databases for conducting quality research. So I encourage you, if you have just joined, welcome. We are recording today's session, so if you have any questions, feel free to enter those questions in the chat or unmute yourselves to ask a question live. So let me exit out of this and pull up our interface. Let me actually get started with some of those databases that we are going to feature today. For academic research, of course, we're going to be accessing Academic Search Premier with over almost 3,000 full-text journals and magazines, over 2,500 peer-reviewed journals, almost 1,200 active full-text peer-reviewed journals with no embargo, and 2,100 active full-text journals indexed in the Web of Science or Scopus. We also are going to be taking a look at the resources in BusinessSource Premier, another academic database, which has access to almost 1,000 full-text journals and magazines, over 600 peer-reviewed journals and magazines. Another database that will be loading to the EBSCOhost interface includes MasterFILE Premier, which is designed specifically for public libraries, providing a robust collection of full-text magazines, ebooks, and primary source documents. Of those, you'll find over 55,000 primary source documents and over 1,500 full-text magazines and journals. So it's just 3 of the many databases that you can load to your EBSCOhost interface. You can access these resources at lilly.org. On the landing page for lilly.org, you'll see the link to EBSCOhost here. Clicking that, you will, if you are not on site, will need to enter your credentials for a Idaho residents, rather, to access these resources. Of course, if on site, you'll be automatically authenticated. Once you do, click through and access EBSCOhost. I'm actually going to pull this up from my backend since I'm not an Idaho resident. I'm going to click into the EBSCOhost interface. And so this is what you will be presented with. And if you haven't visited your EBSCO resources in a few months, maybe the spring, this may look a lot different. If you have visited us since this summer, this will not look new. This is the new EBSCOhost interface through which you can conduct research for all of those databases. So just let's familiarize ourselves quickly with this interface. I'll just talk about some of the landing page features. You'll see, of course, the search box right in the center where you can conduct a keyword search for articles, books, journals, and execute your search by clicking the magnifying glass. This is your basic search. You can also access advanced search with the advanced search button right below that search box. That will bring you to the advanced search page. So if you have academic researchers who are a little bit more sophisticated, they can utilize our guided style multiple search box option here on the advanced search screen. They can qualify their keyword search with a field code to limit their results by, for instance, title or journal title or subject terms. They can also add additional keywords and use the Boolean operators and or not. Okay, so that's advanced search. We'll talk about some additional features here on advanced search. Underneath, you'll see some search options that you can limit to, for instance, full text or at my library or peer reviewed, and you can access the date range limiters as well. I'm going to go back to the basic search page here. And notice that actually above the search box is where you can select the databases that you would like to conduct research in this interface. Notice that 36 are available. We'll click that all databases link to view the 36 databases that you subscribe to. We're selecting all, but we can deselect these and then select those specific databases for academic research, like Academic Search Premier, as we mentioned, the MasterFILE Premier, and we also selected BusinessSource Premier. But notice there are many more. Okay, you can also load newspaper source plus, regional business news. A number of resources are available here for you. So you can select one, many, all if you like. Once you've chosen the databases to conduct a research, you'll click the select link to load them to the interface. And so notice how now we are only viewing or conducting research in those 3 databases that we selected. I'm sorry, 4, including Academic Search Premier. And we can now conduct our search. So notice below the search box, you have a few quick filters. So prior to executing your search, you can limit your search to online full text. So I've limited my search by clicking online full text. Notice that it is now highlighted in that light blue. I can also limit by at my library, peer-reviewed resources, and I can access a few quick time filters. The past 12 months of data, 5 years, or 10 years. All right. I'll go ahead and also select the past 5 years. Now I can actually enter something in my search box. Let me go ahead and I will enter climate change. Okay. Notice that some suggestions are represented here, allowing me to get to my search terms quicker. Maybe I was interested in climate change, but maybe I am actually interested in the effects on the environment. So I can go ahead and select that. It will automatically execute my search and bring me to my search results. Notice I have employed 2 filters here on my search results. So I have almost 6,000 search results, sorted by relevance. But if I want to view the most recently published resources, I can sort by date newest here, as you can see from the drop-down menu. Getting back to my search results, some of the improvements you'll see within the new EBSCOhost UI is that if it is a peer-reviewed article, it will be flagged with this little badge, the orange burst. Not sure what to call that icon yet. I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's a little orange badge or ribbon with a little check mark indicating that it is peer-reviewed. This is also from an academic journal. As we scroll down, see if we can see this one is just a periodical, not peer-reviewed. So it does give you some information. And if your search terms appear in the title or the description, they will be highlighted, okay, showing you the relevancy there. So these are your hits for the keywords you've entered. Now, if I wanted to access any of these resources, actually, before I do that, we're working with almost 6,000 search results. Of course, I don't want to go through all of that. So I'm going to use some of the additional filters and facets that I have access to. Notice that we have the online full text already selected, and I already selected the past 5 years. There's an additional quick filter for source type. But if I wanted to access all of my filters and facets, expanders, limiters, I can go ahead and click the All Filters link right below the search box here, which will open the All Filters panel. So we can see those 2 active filters I've employed and my full complement of filters. I can now limit by particular source types. Maybe I'm interested in academic journals and news articles. I'll go ahead and include magazines here. And maybe I'll exclude the news articles just to limit it somewhat. We can take a look at the different subject terms, author supplied keywords within the subject limiter here. We also can limit by lexile range, which is helpful for identifying articles that are within a certain reading complexity. The higher the number, the more difficult the reading level. So if you have any students who are maybe not reading on level, or maybe you have a student who is reading or new to the English language, you may want to identify a simpler text for them to consume. And that is done with the lexile ranges here. You also have the ability to limit by the publication. We also have limiters by company. Since let's go ahead and open those. And so we see some options here by language. We can expose the language limiter. So we see a few articles written in other languages. Maybe I'll exclude to English. So additional limiters here, I can see at the top all of my active filters employed. I can clear them all or tick one off at a time. But if I'm happy with those active filters, I can then apply, and then we'll see how our search results update. I've gotten it down to under 5,000. So now let's take a look at some of the access options for viewing the full text for these academic resources. So within this first search result, we see that there are some access options for accessing the full text. This one's full text finder that will get me out to that resource. Let's see. Let's see if we have one that has more. I think I may have to, here we go. Genotype and environmental interaction study. We have two different access options, online full text and PDF. We'll open up the online full text first, which will load that article stripped of any formatting and imagery and just deliver the text. So we're taking a look at this article. In the upper right corner, we have a few tools. We can download this article for offline use with the download link. We can translate this article with the globe icon into one of many different languages depicted in the drop-down menu here on the right. We can access the table of contents with the bulleted icon. We can have this article read aloud to us with the headphone icon. This exposes our text-to-speech options. You'll see the play, fast forward, and rewind buttons, and the ability to control the volume, the playback speed. You can also download the audio as an MP3 file and control the text highlighting. So I'm going to go ahead and click play so you can see how that reads it aloud.
Genotype and environment interaction study shows fungal diseases and heat stress are detrimental to spring wheat production in Sweden. 1. Introduction: spring wheat is an economically important crop for Scandinavia.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and pause the audio here. You get the gist of it. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. We also have the ability to save an item. So the save icon is this little flag. It'll give me a note that if I want to save this resource long-term, i.e. after today's session, I would need to be signed in to the MyEBSCO, my personal MyEBSCO account, to save or keep my items forever. I'll explain how that works back on the home page in a moment. Moving on to our other tools, you have access to the citation tool where you can access 9 different citation formats here. So if you are an instructor, a professor looking to have the works cited that your students are researching, this is a great way to identify, maybe it's MLA or APA. Selecting that citation format gives you the citation, which you can then copy to your clipboard and paste into your research. We also have the ability to export to bibliographic management software like GRIS, EasyBib, GraphWorks, and Noodle tools. Moving on, we can add our resources to a project folder. Project folders basically allow you to organize all of the resources you save to your personal MyEBSCO account. So let's say you are conducting research for an environmental course. Then this is where you may want to create a folder to organize all of the articles for that course. You may have another folder for your language arts or for your math research. So that project folder allows you to organize subfolders to organize, to store your research. You will need to be signed into MyEBSCO in order to do that, though. Last 2 tools over here, the share tool, that little swishy arrow gives you access to our integrations with Google Drive and Classroom, our OneDrive. And then there's the permalink or the persistent link. That paperclip icon gives you the link, which you can copy to your clipboard and then share with whomever you would like to access this article. One major improvement with the new EBSCOhost user interface is that you don't have to go to the share tool to access the persistent link, because now with the new UI, the browser URL is your persistent link. So you just need to grab it from the browser URL and share it at will. Last but not least, you have the print option, the little print icon there to print this article. Okay. So those are the tools available for online full text as well as PDF. So we just took a look at the online full text. Let us take a look at the PDF version now. Okay, so loading the PDF will provide the article complete with any formatting and imagery as if we're looking at the actual article in the journal. Same article here. Similar tools, they vary a little bit. One additional tool with the PDF, which is coming soon. This is one of the features that will be on our roadmap, which is the ability to search within, to conduct a search within for keyword within the PDF. That's not available, but it does say search coming soon. We still have the ability to have our text read aloud with our text-to-speech option here for PDFs. A little simpler. It does give you the ability to play, control the volume, playback speed, as well as download the MP3. The save item is still there. The citation is still there. Project folders, share tools, as well as print. Okay, so those are your full text viewing options. And let me pause here and see if we have any questions in the chat, or if anyone would like to unmute themselves if they have a question about any of the filters, full text viewing options. Okay, so let's move on. So I've covered filtering, the quick filters that are available, the active filters gives you that panel, your full text viewing options. If you're interested in learning more about a particular article, you can click the view details link, which will provide more information than what is presented in your search results. So with the search results, you have access to the title, the summary, the subject, headings, author information. Author information is actually hyperlinked to link you to additional works by or about that author. But if you want to get more information about this particular article, you can click the view details, which will bring you to the detailed record for this article. You still have your access options here on the detailed record, the ability to download it for offline use. And there you'll see the hyperlinked resources like the subject terms, the industry codes, and then you can view the full abstract here with your unique identifiers at the bottom. Okay. We've already saved this, but notice from the detailed record, we can immediately cite this resource, so we don't have to dive into the full text to access a citation, a project folder, share, and download. Okay. And back on the result list, since we have gone ahead and applied a number of filters, the URL in the browser for the search result list is also a permanent or persistent link as well. All right, so to clear my search, I can click the general search link under tools, which will bring me back to this landing page and clear my search terms. So now that we are back on the landing page, I would like to dive into advanced search. So I'll go ahead and click advanced search, and will bring us to the multiple or guided style search boxes, where you can enter multiple keywords. So let me say I'm conducting a research for organic gardening, and want to include composting. Spelled that wrong, so I use the suggestion there. So I want to include organic gardening and composting, but I want to exclude hydroponic gardening in my search. If I wanted to qualify my keywords with a field code, I could use that. Maybe I'm interested in anything with organic gardening in the title. And then I can go ahead and execute my search. And that, utilizing our advanced search screen, instead of having 6,000 search results, I'm sorry, I actually didn't use the same terms, but notice how utilizing multiple guided style search boxes, those field codes will quickly get you to a more manageable search result set for 22, okay? And so those resources are provided here below. That's just one way to utilize advanced search. I'm going to clear my search. I also want to show you subject search on the advanced search screen. So I cleared the search, brought me back to the landing page. I'm going to go ahead and click advanced search again. And notice on the advanced search screen below the guided style search boxes, I have access to the thesaurus. So if I wanted to conduct a search utilizing the thesauri available, I have a number of thesauri available. Since I cleared my search, I have access to all 36 databases. So now I can see which of those 36 have thesaurus. So since I was conducting a search for climate change initially, maybe I want to search that within an environmental thesaurus. So let's see. I thought I saw, yes, we do have green thesaurus. So we'll go ahead and search for my terms utilizing the green thesaurus green file. So now I'll go ahead and enter climate change, and we'll see if this phrase is indexed within the green thesaurus. So we'll click the search, and we see that climate change is indexed in the way that I typed it, and there are some related terms as well. I'm going to go ahead and just select climate change, but notice that there is an explode feature here. I'm going to click climate change, and clicking so shows me that climate change is the preferred term. There are broader terms, climatology, and related terms. Okay, I can join any of these terms by selecting them. I can go back to explode. Exploding will include any terms that are below the main term climate change. So it will include climate change dating, weather and climate change, abrupt climate change, and so on. I can choose to join these terms using or and or not, and I can add those terms to my search. Notice once I click add to search, it has now built my search, not utilizing keywords, but now utilizing the subject terms as they're indexed in the green thesaurus. Okay, I can still conduct my search here or add additional terms, qualify the terms with field codes, but I'll go ahead and execute my search here. Now I've OR'd, so I've expanded my search in this case to include all of those related terms that are indexed. And in this case, I've expanded my search to almost 500,000 search results. So of course, I'll want to employ some of those filters. But these are more relevant resources because it's not just searching the keywords at the top layer of metadata. It is searching against the way these terms are indexed within the thesaurus. All right, so that is advanced search utilizing the thesaurus. Let me just highlight a few of these resources. Actually, many of these are books. So let me click through the source types and maybe limit to magazines, academic journals, and we'll apply those filters to get our search results down somewhat. I'll limit to full text as well using the quick filter. And maybe I'll go ahead and save some of these resources to my folder. So last but not least, I want to talk to you about the folder. So notice as I click through and save anything, I keep getting this little notifications saying that this information is saved for now. But if I were to close my browser, shut down, log out, anything I've saved would actually go away. To save it long-term or forever, I would need to be signed into my EBSCO account. Now, right next to the search box, you'll see this little MyEBSCO avatar. If you click that, it tells you what the benefits of creating a personal account are, which include the ability to create project folders to organize your research, the ability to download and store your ebooks, save your research. So if you create sophisticated searches, search queries, you can save those. And anything that you do will sync to the mobile app when logged in, okay? There's a link to create an account or to sign in. But that is all optional. You do not need to sign in. You do not need to create an account because it will save your research while you're in the session. So I have not signed in, and I can come over to my dashboard over here on the left. And this is what organizes my work for the session that I'm in. So we can see here under the dashboard, there's an overview. Then we can look at particular project folders we may have created, saved, resources, searches we've conducted, and any articles we viewed. I'm going to click over to the overview first, which gives you a summary of your dashboard. And we can see that we have saved 5 resources. 2 are listed here. If we want to see them all, we would click the See All link, or we can go over to the saved subfolder for our dashboard and see the saved journal articles and ebook that we have access to. If I wanted to take a look at the searches I've conducted, I conducted 11 searches today, and I can rerun those searches here with the hyperlink. And that will bring me back to my search results. And then anything that I viewed within my session, I can click the little eye icon. It brings me to the articles that I have viewed recently. Okay, so that's the dashboard. I'll go ahead and clear the general search here. Now, if I wanted to conduct a search not at the article level, but at the title level, I have the ability to conduct a search through publication. So under Research Tools, there's a Publications link. Oh, and that actually is throwing an error message. We may need to investigate why that is. Maybe something that has not launched. But let's pause here and see if we have any questions. My apologies for not functioning, but we will look into why that is throwing an error. Maybe my computer today. All right, so I don't see any questions. If we have no questions, I can move on to showing you the resources in EBSCO Connect. So you can learn more about, oh, we do have a question here. Do you know why we need to authenticate from inside the library? That should not be a problem for authenticating because I'm sure you have your IPs registered with us. So if you're having an issue accessing resources to Lily from inside the library, you may want to submit a case, and I can show you where to do that. It's a great segue into our support site, which is EBSCO Connect. All right, before I do that, though, let me go back into our slide presentation. And then we'll get over to Connect after I just summarize some of the things that we demoed today. All right. So just to summarize some of the changes that you'll see within the new EBSCOhost UI when accessing academic databases is that the UI is modern, friendly, accessible. One big win is that the permalink is now available from the browser bar. In addition to the share tool, we just demoed the MyEBSCO account and the redesign in the My Dashboard. There are enhanced sharing and citation tools, and then we're going to take a look at the roadmap. So if you are interested to see the additional features to come on EBSCOhost, we do publish a publicly facing roadmap that anyone can view on our support site, which is EBSCO Connect. We update that roadmap on a quarterly basis on the calendar year, so you can always check the roadmap to see what is coming on our roadmap as we continue to plot out our features. And then you can also view what has recently released on our release notes, also available on EBSCO Connect, and I'll show you those two things live. Now, EBSCO Connect is an easy URL to remember. It's connect.ebsco.com, and that's where you can access not only the platform roadmap and the release notes, but you can utilize the search box there and enter anything new, like new EBSCOhost if you want to learn more about it, or any of the other resources you subscribe to, like Explorer. You can enter that in the search box and it will surface all of our knowledge-based articles and tutorials, in addition to promotional resources. Those are all available on Connect. So let me exit out. Now's the time for questions, but I'll also dive into Connect. While I await any additional questions, let me just click over to Connect. I have it bookmarked here. And so now we're looking at Connect. This is where you can submit that support ticket, Stephanie, if you had a question. There is a how do I contact EBSCO support here and need quick help, but it looks like Marina is on top of your issue. Marina may need to be submitting a support ticket if she's not able to resolve it on her end, but that's where you would on connect@ebsco.com access our support staff and submit a support case. But when I was talking about the platform roadmap under news, you can access the platform roadmap right here, as well as the release notes. And clicking platform roadmap brings you to this page where you can see the most recently updated roadmap. So you'll always want to come here to access the latest one. So we did provide an update to our roadmap in August. There's also an opportunity here to share your feedback, since this is a partnership with our colleagues, our clients. We are interested in hearing back from you on the enhancements to the new user interfaces. So you can share your feedback here. Submit an enhancement request through our support staff. I'll go ahead and quickly download that roadmap for the latest updates in August. Let's quickly save that and open that. And this is a platform roadmap, so it covers all of our user interfaces, in addition to EBSCOhost, Explorer, the mobile app, and Discovery. The page 3 gives you a quick table of contents that you can jump to. So if you're interested in any accessibility updates, customizations, you can jump right into those. Subject authorities, search and filter enhancements are all available for viewing. So let's click through to the accessibility one, and that's the accessibility page. And you can notice that there are additional enhancements that come through July 2024. Let's see. I think EBSCOhost is on page, yes, 15. So we are still providing subject authority updates. So you'll see that those updates are expected through April 2024, as well as the search and journal alert. So there's some functionality that does not exist in the new UI yet that is coming. So search and journal alerts and additional filter enhancements are coming. Advanced search enhancements will be available by spring of 2024. Okay. Some additional enhancements that are not on the timeline, including combining searches from search history that is on our future roadmap, but not published just yet. But you have access to all this information on connect.ebsco.com. All right. Any last questions? And I do see that Marina has made the suggestion that if anyone is having an issue accessing your resources via lily.org, and if you're being asked to authenticate, to please reach out and we can submit a support ticket to make sure that your IPs are registered, which would bypass any need for authentication if you're in network. Okay. All right. So I will keep the session open for additional questions or comments. I'd like to actually include this link to an evaluation in the chat if you have any questions or comments. I'm part of a global training team, so we love to get your feedback on how we're doing in terms of training you all. And If you've got a moment, please go ahead and fill that out. No pressure. Let's see if there are any additional questions. I'm going to go back into the interface. If you would like me to demonstrate anything, now's your time. We've got a few minutes left. Oh, recommended training course for our staff. This is a great question. Thank you, Stephanie, for asking. I'm going to go back into EBSCO Connect. Now, if you create a Connect account, if you log into Connect, create a Connect account, which I encourage you to do because you can access our, actually, let me go on to the learning page first, because there's a lot of information that's publicly accessible. You don't need to be logged into Connect to access it. So if I go to learning here in the upper right corner, and I click through to find instructor-led courses, I can watch recorded sessions for any resources that you subscribe to. There probably is one. Or you can log in, sign up for an upcoming live session. So my team, we offer monthly training sessions on a wide variety of EBSCO topics. So I'll click the upcoming classes. You'll have to select United States and Canada. As you can see, we are a global team, but I'll click the US and Canada. And then you can see our public event list and sign up for anything. So I know that you subscribe to Novelist as well. So there is a Novelist training coming up. Actually, it already started. I'm actually hosting another session in a few minutes, and you can just scroll through the list to see if anything piques your interest and click the register link. Let me go back to the learning page, and you can also watch recordings. So we have a complete list of recorded sessions. Now, if you want a course of resources to deepen your knowledge for EBSCO resources, then I would recommend that you discover a learning path. You would need to be signed in to Connect. I'm going to sign in so I can show you what the learning paths look like. So I'm going to click sign in. Oh, it's not going to sign me in on this screen because I am on a incognito screen. So let me go here and then go into Connect. And now I'll go ahead and sign in. It'll save my credentials because I don't remember all of my logins. So I'm signed in. And it recognized me. So instead of just saying hello, it says hello, Shane. And that's how I know I'm signed in. And you can see my little avatar up here. So now I'm going to, I can click back into learning. And now I can browse my e-learning paths. So this is a collection of trainings to give you a more deeper training experience. So we can see some of the paths that I have accessed. I haven't registered for EBSCOhost research databases. This may be one since it's related to our session today. And I'll go ahead and click that. Notice that the total path time is 7 hours and 51 minutes. Maybe that's why I haven't registered for it. But it's just to show you that this is a deeper training path. It's a collection of training. So over time, you can take these sessions to learn. We can see why use EBSCOhost. Then there are 2 courses for searching. Another one here for the business searching interface administration. So if you're interested in learning about how to run reports and statistics, each path gives you the completion time. And let me go back to show you a path that I have completed. And you can see that you can earn some mini credentials here. So I've completed the ebooks course here. And you'll see that it's got the little green completed flag. I should have gone back to the landing page here for my paths. Over here, you can actually see what has not started, what's in progress, what's completed. And you can toggle over from list view to tile view. So that I would recommend if you are interested in a deeper dive. If you want Learning Light, then I'd go back to the Learning tab and just view one of the recorded sessions. You can watch a recording here, and you would just enter anything in the search box. I'll just do EBSCOhost. And it will surface any recordings that are available for EBSCOhost. So we've got advanced searching tips and tricks. So if you want to dive into that, search alerts and journal alerts, which actually is not available in new UI yet, but if you want to learn how to do it, there is a video. And so tons of resources. Okay, so that's what I recommend, Stephanie. I think I probably have just given you a mouthful of, be careful what you wish for. You'll get a list of resources. EBSCO Connect is a very useful site. Most of the information is available without being logged in, including those recorded sessions and those live sessions. Anyone can sign in and attend. All right. I think that does it. If there are additional questions, and you're welcome, Stephanie. Thank you, everyone, for joining the session today. I truly appreciate your time and attention. Hopefully, you've learned a few things as it relates to conducting quality research in EBSCOhost through those academic databases. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll be making the recording available. And look out for a follow-up email with some links, hopefully to the recording, in addition to some additional helpful resources from Connect. Thanks again. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye now.